All right, Jared. You got another fight, man. You're taking these fights back to back to back. Not much time between camps.
What camp? You act like they're camps. I mean, a week and a half, like not really a camp, I would say. But yes, I'm getting a lot of these short notice fights. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm back at it again. I wish I was fighting though. I think maybe this weekend or last weekend, I'd be a lot more content and happy about that. Just because Monday I'm going to Anime Expo, and I wish I could just blow all the money there. But yeah, that's the only disappointing thing that's happening right now.
Yeah, it is what it is. How much time do you spend on rest and recovery between fights?
It depends on the fight prior. So the Olenek fight at right after my fight, there was no rest or recovery. I literally just I acted like that fight didn't happen, and I just went back to training the next day. Literally Monday, I was training, but like the Orlowski fight, I took about 2-3 weeks off because my ribs were bruised. So I took a little bit of time off of there, and then I like maybe like a couple weeks off, and then I was back to training.
Yeah, let's go back to the Arlovsky fight, man. That was a split decision win for Arlovsky. And with split decisions, it irks a lot of people, right? Because there's people that believe that you won the fight. Is there anything that bothers you about that fight and how it played out?
Not really. Well, it's because I put myself in the position to get a split decision. I kind of part of it was I wasn't particularly listening to my coaches 100%. Like they were like, take him down. Now, the way that they went about saying the takedown, I'm not a big single leg fan, so my single leg comfort isn't as high as it should be. And like there are other takedowns I do a lot more that if maybe if they said that those ones, I would have been maybe more inclined to actually initiate those takedowns that way. So and like rewatching the fight, like yes, there's times where I'm like, yeah, I think I won this round, but at the same time I'm like, but did I do enough to win that round? So I've watched it 2 or 3 times where I'm just like I'm at the point where I just like I could have done more to secure another round, and at the end of the day, it's my fault not giving the judges enough to give me the round.
For you, when you sustain a loss, is it easy for you to like get past that? Like you said in the last fight, you went back to training on Monday like it never happened.
Um, like I like the loss and stuff did happen, and I'm not like denying that. Like it's just physically, I got into it like it didn't happen. Like I wasn't hurt from the Olenek fight. There was no real damage, so it was easy to just go back to what I was doing prior to that. So that's what I mean. Like mentally, it was kind of rough. It like a lot of people, like for me, even though a lot of people are like, "Hey, you got caught. You were winning until you weren't. You took a last minute notice fight," and like these are all valid reasons. But to me, I was like, "Fuck! I could have done a lot more to actually achieve the victory."
Does anything like people say to you bother you? Like the expression "you're winning until you weren't." That to me, that in fighting, that's pretty much everything. You know what I mean? Like most of the time, guys are winning until they get caught.
Yeah, and I mean, like that expression doesn't bother me, especially the one because I was the one using it. I think at first. Now when people say things, I mean, most of the time it comes from people that have never experienced any high level stress situations. They never experienced the combative sports one way or another, or just people that just kind of enjoy being a dick. So I really don't necessarily take what they say to heart.
That's great. That's great to hear. And you're returning, man, July 9th. Chase Sherman. When I say his name, what comes to mind?
Striker. He has a very punchable face. Like it's him and Sergey Poloshkovich. I know I'm butchering the gentleman's last name. The big Russian dude. They have very punchable faces. Nothing like nothing about their character or anything. It's just the face looks very punchable. That's it. Like not like it's not meant to be like a like oh he's talking shit. No, I'm just like I'm pretty sure I have a punchable face to some people, so I get it. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, I would like to punch Chase in the face at least once in this whole fight. You know, I might punch him, take him down, and try to repeat his last two fights, and win in the first. That'd be cool.
Punchable face, like from your perspective, is it like the structure of the face? Is it the expression on their face? What is it?
It's a little bit of both, but yeah, it's like the structure and how their face looks to me. I'm just like, that looks like a fun face to punch. And like again, it has nothing to do with them as people, as fighters. And like I said, I'm sure there's somebody in the heavyweight division's like, yo, this is Jared Cat. I want to punch him in the face. He looks funny to me. And I respect it. It's just some people have punchable faces to me. And those two gentlemen do.
His last four fights, Sherman's last four fights, you know, I mean, either he's been finished or lost unanimous decision. Have you gotten a chance to, watch every single fight? And if you did, what did you learn from those?
In the last, I have watched, I think, 3 of the 4 last fights. I mean, I know like the Romanov fight, it was a short notice fight, and Romanov being Romanov, we all like even Vegas was like, yo, Chase is gonna lose this one. The one that threw me off was the Jake Collier fight. I don't know why. I actually had Chase potentially doing a lot more in that fight, and just to see him kind of flop on the floor, I was like, wow, like. I don't know, because I also remember watching him when he fought with Jackson Wink, and I thought he was a lot more tactical, I guess, when he was with that camp. Now he's at Stanford and whatnot. Give me 1 second. There's a crackhead that looks like he's bleeding. Oh, give me a second. Hey, I'm busy right now. Give me a minute. Later, but yes. Kids, drugs.
Serving the community. Jared serving the community,
One of my high school buddies came in looking like he just got stabbed. This is him, and crackheads are rampant everywhere.
Okay.
And yeah, he went south, and he was like, "Hey, can we talk?" I'm like, I'm looking, I'm like, "Did you just get out of the hospital from being stabbed?" And I'm just like, sorry about that.
Wild country, man. Wild country. Damn, what were we just talking about? Okay, Sherman, right? Him and how his style has changed since he moved camps. You've noticed that?
Yeah, it like he personally to me I thought was a phenomenal striker, and I don't want to discredit the gentleman, but I definitely think when he was at Jackson Wink, it was a lot more on point. And now I don't see him utilizing it as much as he has before.
Yeah, I agree with you about the Jake Collier fight. I think a lot of people expected Chase to go in there and steamroll Jake, and Jake just did the damn thing to Chase.
I didn't think he was going to steamroll, but I thought he was going to give Jake a lot harder of a fight. Like, he once it got to the ground, it was like, oh no. And I mean, it could be the pressure of, the contracts and like, oh, he was on like a 2-3 fight losing streak before the Jake fight. So it could have gone to him and stuff like that. Because I thought he would have, stand a little longer with Jake, giving him more to work with. But I mean, that's just maybe the analytical side of me. And like, I also know I could watch a fight and like, oh, I could handle that guy. And then you get in there and like, he's a lot stronger or a lot faster than he looked on TV. So
yeah,
Jake could be one of those guys where, like it's easy for us to judge off the analytical side, but in reality, Jake could just be a lot stronger than what he looks. And, he caught Chase fair and square, So I don't want to take anything away from both gentlemen. So
When you see a guy like Jake that was a middleweight and now he fights at heavyweight, he looks like a completely different person and he's winning fights. Like, it's pretty incredible, right?
Yeah, no, like I feel like he kind of got lazy. I mean,
Oh.
like I'm not saying he's getting lazy now, but I'm not shooting shots that I need to take myself, but like he could diet better. I could diet better.
Mhm.
Like he was shredded at 185. Not saying he needs to go back to 185 or 205. I'm pretty sure he's put on a lot of muscle under the fat, but Jake, I think we need to kind of focus in on our diets, tone up a bit, look a little bit better for the fans because I mean we are professional athletes and we need to have ourselves held to a higher standard. Like I mean again, I only got a week and a half to really cut into this camp. I've been trying to do a body recomp and they're slow as shit to like recomp fat to muscle, and muscle growth is slow also. So I'm just like, this is going to be a long haul for me, but I'm like, I'm making the effort. And I would like to see Jake make the effort too, because I think if like him and I, make that more of that physique that you see in the middle lightweights, you see those in heavyweights, and you see it in most of the top guys in the heavyweight division, excluding Ty. And that's not a shot on him. It's just
Mhm.
the Islanders are built different.
Yeah.
They just awesome like that.
When you look at, is there a pressure to look a certain way as a fighter? Do you think?
Yes and no. Like I get a lot of shit on like my weight more than I think other guys, and it's funny because I get a lot of shit for it, but I find myself able to outwork guys that look chiseled like Greek gods, and you're like, yeah, and I can outwork a lot of them. And then you get someone like me or Jake, and hell, 2 fights ago, Romanov, where we were all big, but our cardio in one way or another outshined some of the guys that were worse shredded. And half the reason why is we're not making these drastic weight cuts to look as chiseled. But again, there is some level of professionalism I think that comes with it. And it's really starting to like a lot of people like for me being in the UFC is still a very surreal experience. I'm
Mhm.
like it's still coming to me that I'm part of like the biggest fighting organization, and I'm just like, yo, I gotta be professional about this shit. It has nothing to do with the comments. Yeah, like you hear it, you take it and leave it. But I'm just like, I look at myself daily. I'm like, yo, I'm in the biggest sport. I'm haven't been showing up to these fights. So let me fix my physique. Let me fix my mental game and let me come out there and just win these fights. Let me win the next 2 fights and maybe Mick will offer me an extension on the contracts. So that's kind of my mindset going into this fight and into my next fight, whoever that may be.
Sherman, we talked about how technical he is and what kind of striker he is, but he from time to time he'll like to stand there and trade with his opponents and you as well. Are you planning to engage in like a war, or do you see yourself differently in this upcoming fight?
Honestly, I have to play it by ear because I mean,
Mhm.
I like it's easy to judge something off like on the screen. I could be like, all right, I see Chase's mistakes here, 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 and here.
Mhm.
But when you're in the fight, you're like, oh, this is a lot harder to read because he's looking for all the mistakes that you make.
Mhm.
Like my Orlowski fight. Uh, I saw all the mistakes that we went over with Orlowski. I saw certain motions that I'm like, I can capitalize on it. But what you don't train for or you can't train for until you're actually in the fight is their exact speed, their exact power. And certain things I'm just like, oh, damn, he's a lot quicker than I thought he was. Or, oh, it oh, he really does make that mistake quite a bit. It's weird things like that that you train for, but they're a lot harder to actually correlate in the
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, definitely. An analogy that you can use in the reverse way is like you see all these people on Instagram hitting mitts and they look perfect and it looks fast and smooth, and then when you go to sparring, none of that shit's working.
Oh yeah, no, like a lot of people I know call it choreographed pad holding.
Yeah.
Like I make the joke of like me hitting the like I make fun of pad holders where it's like they're like, oh, why aren't we doing like this and that? I'm like, because it's the pad holder's doing all the work. Because if you actually watch some of those videos, you see the pad holder just like, and then you look at the boxer or guy like he looking fresh and like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, because you didn't do shit. It was all the like you see the pad holder like, and then you see the guy just moving his hand like, yeah. It's like. You didn't do shit, bro. You the pad holder did all the work.
Exactly.
So give him the medal.
Give him the that's right. Give him the medal. Give him the shine.
Yeah.
Now outside the fight, you remember Towelgate? Remember when DC was weighing in and he put his hands on the towel? And actually in his Hall of Fame speech yesterday, he admitted that he might have held the towel, man. What is your take on that? Him admitting he's a big man for that.
What fight was that?
I forgot. I think was that a title fight?
It was a title fight, but was it Jones or was it Gustafson?
I don't know. I thought it was Rumble Johnson, but
Rumble. Yeah. I really don't care. Like, I mean, out of all the things out there to yeah, like. But that's something that should have been addressed then. Now it's a little too late. I mean, worst case scenario, the fight still happened. DC still won the fight. And regardless, it would have been a very similar situation to Charles Oliveira missing weight. The only thing I think they could do to anything is, give 20% of DC's purse. Like recomp that to Anthony Rumble Johnson, and put an asterisk in the books or something like that. Like you can't take it away now. You can't really do anything about it. If it's a Jones fight, leave it. Fuck it, leave it because Jones the second fight was juicing, so a little cheat on both ends, perfectly fine.
Balance it out.
But yeah, that's the only way I could think about it that way.
Yeah. Piggybacking off that, the Hall of Fame, the UFC Hall of Fame, is there anybody that you think that should be in there that hasn't been inducted?
I would assume Orlowski should be in there.
Oh, that's right.
Well, like I don't know. I really don't follow. But like him and like people like Orlowski, Cerrone, who have multitudes of fights in the promotion, like those guys, they might not be the GOATs per se, but they have legacies far greater than some of them. Like not to bash Habib, but his legacy is unprecedented with 30 wins. There's nothing to shoot there, but at the same time, he was only in the UFC for maybe 5 years, 5-6 years.
Yeah,
in and out, like not really a long reign. And then you get people like Cerrone, Orlowski that have been in it. Like yes, Orlowski, left for a while, came back, but still, like. He has years with the company. He was a champ. You get someone like Cerrone who might not ever become a champion, but is there. People love Cerrone. And to take away, to sit there and say he might not ever get a Hall of Fame because he never got a title or anything like that, I think it's foolish. You're taking away someone that is an incredible fighter, someone that is a fan favorite, and someone that's put in work. I feel like he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And it's just their accomplishments are different. Like Khabib did something only Khabib does, but at the same rate, Khabib's not doing what Cerrone did. You know, Cerrone's winning these crazy wars. He's having 5 of the night things. And people just love watching him go in there and beat somebody up. So I feel like, you know, people like them should also, I hopefully they receive the Hall of Fame award in the late future.
Yeah, I hope so too. You know, if they include Pride and WEC, which I think they do, Dan Henderson and Anderson Silva should be in the Hall of Fame without a fucking doubt.
Oh yeah, Dan should. I mean, he's old now, so he might forget that he even fought. I'm going to get my ass kicked for that joke. I love making like senior citizen jokes to Dan. He hates them. Like I just see his face. He's just like, if I was younger, I'd punch you. Oh,
For sure. Yeah, man. Anyways, July 9th, UFC Fight Night Las Vegas. Jared back in the cage again. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be one of the more entertaining fights of the night. Thank you so much, Jared, for the time.
thank you for having me.